Today, Yankunytjatjara woman and Indigenous activist Lowitja O'Donoghue has died at the age of 91. Australia backs another US-led wave of airstrikes on Houthi targets in Yemen.
These are proportionate. These are retaliatory for the actions of basically Iran-backed organisations.
Queensland police launch a manhunt after a grandmother is stabbed to death at a busy shopping centre. And Michelle O'Neill makes history as the first nationalist leader in Northern Ireland as the country's parliament is pieced back together. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Dan Borsha. Yankunytjatjara woman and Indigenous activist Lowitja O'Donoghue has died at the age of 91. We're using the name and images of Dr. Lowitja O'Donoghue with the permission of her family. Dr. O'Donoghue's family said she died peacefully on Kaurna Country in Adelaide with her immediate family by her side. In a statement, they say she dedicated her entire lifetime of work to the rights, health and well-being of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. They add that we thank and honour her for all that she's done, for all the pathways she created, for all the doors she opened, for all the issues she tackled head-on, for all the tables she sat at and for all the arguments she fought and won. And we're receiving more reaction to the death of Dr. O'Donoghue this afternoon. This from the Minister for Indigenous Australians, Linda Burney. Lowitja's leadership and tenacity has been an inspiration for generations of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians, including myself, the Minister said. Going on, I had the great honour and privilege of working with Lowitja when I was appointed to the National Council for Aboriginal Reconciliation in 1997. She was a truly extraordinary leader, the Minister went on to say. Lowitja was not just a giant for those of us who knew her, but a giant for her country. Minister Burney says, my thoughts and sincere condolences go to her family, and we are going to be speaking to the Minister, Linda Burney, later on this afternoon. We also received this from recently retired WA Senator and the Special Envoy for Reconciliation, Patrick Dodson, who says this is a sad day for First Peoples of this nation. We have lost an extraordinary person of great courage and strength. Her leadership in the battle for justice was legendary. Hers was a strong voice, and her intelligent navigation for our rightful place in a resistant society resulted in many of the privileges we enjoy today. Mr Dodson went on to say she will be forever remembered in our hearts. Galia. And for more on this passing, I'm joined by the CEO of the Lowitja Institute, Adjunct Professor Janine Muhammad. Janine, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Dan.
Tell me, how are you reacting to this news this afternoon?
Extremely sad, Dan, and of course our love and condolences go out to the family, Lowitja's community. She was a Yankunytjatjara woman from South Australia, and of course our condolences out to the wider Australian community who have been impacted by her amazing legacy. And for me today, I know personally that we've lost a national treasure. On a very personal note, I think what's really getting me through today is ensuring that everything is being done to honour her trailblazing legacy. Lowitja loved perfection, and she had high standards of herself and of others, and today we're hoping and striving to stand up to that.
And in fact, Janine, you knew Lowitja from when you began your professional career as a nurse. Tell me about those experiences and what sort of impact Lowitja O'Donoghue had on you personally.
Well, of course, there's the trailblazing work of Lowitja O'Donoghue herself, and she's really afforded me an easier path in life. When you think about Lowitja and herself as an Aboriginal woman, the era that she grew up in, and she was on TV places where we hadn't seen Aboriginal women in a strength-based way before. There was Lowitja O'Donoghue as a beacon, as a light, as a mentor for us. But Really, a standout memory for me was when I was a student nurse, and I just happened to have a chance meeting with Lowitja O'Donoghue at a conference that I went to. I was in my undergraduate degree. I had a little baby at the time, and we connected. And for me, she was almost an untouchable person, but she actually offered to meet with me for 8 weeks at this little coffee shop on Kaurna Country in West Lakes Mall. And it was not just those moments that we had for those 8 weeks of her talking to me, but there was this true wisdom that she imparted to me, the true interest that she had in me and my career and what my hopes and aspirations were. And of course, here I am now leading the Lowitja Institute, which is named in her honour. I think in a nutshell, Dan, I'm a better woman and I live a much fuller life because of Lowitja O'Donoghue's life. And Lowitja, of course, she really called for a reconciled Australia. And of course, that call that she had to Australia lives on, and we still have an opportunity today to ensure that that happens.
Yeah, and her life was simply extraordinary. She was removed from her mother, rose through the ranks in the public service, and then in the health sphere as well. Was the first Aboriginal person to speak at the United Nations General Assembly, and then became the inaugural chairperson of ATSIC, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Commission. And of course, as you mentioned, the Lowitja Institute was named in her honour. Tell me about the work that you're doing to live up to that high bar that you mentioned of Lowitja O'Donoghue.
Yeah, well, she's foundational to our work. She is absolutely our moral compass, and what a moral compass to have. Her values permeate through all of our work, her commitment to Indigenous ways of knowing, being and doing, let alone her work ethic. I mean, just some of the things that you've mentioned, Dan. What a life, what an enormous life to not just have an impact domestically here in Australia, but of course globally. Lowitja, when she gave us her name, when she allowed us to call ourselves the Lowitja Institute, she told us to be a courageous organisation that was very committed to social justice and equity for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, and to match those words to action. So it wasn't just about us saying that, but to be known to work fearlessly for change and improvement in the lives of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. And of course, I think that's why Lowitja achieved so much in her lifetime, was through that very essence, that value of loving Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So we judge all of our work through that lens, and we will continue to honour her legacy and very much welcome if any people or organisations want to connect with us, we just go to our website and you can see the amazing work that we do in her honour with and for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australia, and of course the broader Australian society as well.
And Janine, in the course of my reporting last year, I reread the book Lowitja, and I thought a lot about many of the things that she had said and done. And there was a quote that particularly resonated with me, and I quoted it, in fact, a number of times, a description of Lowitja O'Donoghue as the rock amidst the storm that kept us grounded throughout those early 90s, of course, which was a very heated time when you talk about after Mabo and then, of course, the laws that followed. You've touched a little bit on the different elements of her legacy. How do you think Australia will be reflecting and remembering Lowitja O'Donoghue?
Well, this is a time of reflection and also a time of celebration too, I think, Dan, to remember the amazing work that she's done on our behalf and how we all walk in that legacy, but of course the work that she's left us to do, and we all get to walk in those footsteps now. We just have to make that choice as Australians to reflect on her words, reflect on her work, and hopefully the unfinished business that we continue that in her honour.
CEO of the Lowitja Institute, Adjunct Professor Janine Muhammad, thank you so much, and our condolences to all of the family and, of course, the team at Lowitja. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jan.